Welcome to my channel, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. Most men chase women. They spend their money on gifts. They flex their charm. They try to impress. And most of them are forgotten. But Adrian Black, Adrian was different. He never chased. He never begged. He never explained. He understood something darker, something Machiavelli whispered centuries ago. It is safer to be feared than loved. And in a city built on illusions, New York Adrian didn't play the game like the rest. He rewrote it. His life became one long stage play, with women as his audience and his resources, elevating him from nothing into the luxury lifestyle most men only dream of. This is not a story of love. It's a story of control, power, and strategy. And if you watch closely, you'll see the 9 Machiavellian frameworks in action played, not in politics, but in the theater of desire. Adrian wasn't born rich. He was a bartender at a Manhattan rooftop lounge, serving cocktails to wealthy women who barely remembered his name. But he observed something most men missed. Women didn't obsess over men who gave love freely. They obsessed over the ones who could walk away without a word. One night, a Wall Street executive named Isabella leaned over the bar. She teased Adrian, tested him, tried to get him to jump through hoops like every other guy drooling around her. But when she crossed the line marking his ambition, Adrian didn't argue. He simply went silent. He stopped serving her attention. The silence hit her harder than any insult. Within minutes, Isabella was the one leaning in, apologizing, even offering him her number. That night, Adrian learned his first law. Never give more than you're willing to take away. Respect comes from absence, not presence. Isabella became his first gateway into the world of the wealthy. Dinners, chauffeur rides, penthouse parties. But she wasn't his last. Machiavelli wrote, "It is not necessary to be good, only to appear good." Adrian lived this like gospel. He couldn't afford designer suits, so he borrowed sharp blazers from a theater friend. He polished cheap watches until they shined like luxury. He walked into every room as if he owned its shoulders back, chin high, moving slowly, deliberately. Women never asked if he was wealthy. They felt he was, and that feeling was enough. At a charity gala, Adrian approached Clarissa, a gallery owner 20 years older. She asked the usual questions. What do you do? Where do you live? He never gave straight answers. Instead, he smiled with calm mystery. I move things, valuable things. But what about you? The vagueness pulled her deeper. Clarissa didn't see a bartender. She saw a man of influence, a man with secrets, and that perception unlocked her resources. She brought him into her gallery world, introducing him to patrons, clients, artists. Adrian didn't buy credibility. He appeared credible, and the doors opened. Adrian knew every woman would test him, sometimes with jealousy, sometimes with coldness, sometimes with games. But where most men folded, Adrian stayed unshaken. One evening, Clarissa tried to provoke him at dinner, flirting openly with another man. Most men would explode or sulk. Adrian simply leaned back, calm, unreadable. He watched like a fox, saying nothing. When she crossed a line, he stood, paid for both their meals without a word, and walked away like a lion. The silence was deafening. Hours later, her phone blew up with apologies, invitations, promises. He didn't need to argue. His absence became punishment. His calm return became reward. From then on, she never tested him the same way again. The fusion of lion and fox strength and intelligence made him untouchable. Women couldn't predict him, and unpredictability was his strongest weapon. Adrian never fought women's beliefs head-on. He seeded doubt. Subtle, surgical, Machiavellian. A model named Sophia once said to him at a rooftop bar, "I hate men who are jealous." Adrian didn't argue. He just smirked and replied, "That's what you think." Then he went silent. That one line haunted her. What did he mean? Was he different? Was she wrong? Suddenly, her certainty cracked. She questioned herself, replayed his words, and in doing so, kept replaying him in her mind. By dividing her world-making, her question, her own truth, Adrian inserted himself into her psychology. He didn't need to dominate her. He made her dominate herself with doubt. And in that tension, she kept coming back. Adrian never drowned women in compliments. He studied them, their posture, their tone, their masks. And then, at the right moment, he dropped a single surgical truth. With Sophia, he noticed how she laughed differently when her influencer friends were around. One night, when they were alone, he looked at her calmly and said, You laugh, but it doesn't feel real. Then silence. She froze, shocked, exposed, not insulted, but seen. And from that night, she couldn't shake him from her thoughts. He wasn't another man trying to get her body. He was the man who saw her Sullivan, the parts she tried to hide. That one line was more powerful than any gift, any flattery. It made her obsessed. Adrian never overstayed. He knew presence creates comfort, but absence creates obsession. When Sophia became too demanding, he vanished for days. No warnings, no explanations. The void ate at her. She replayed every moment, every glance, every word he didn't say. When he returned, calm and unfazed, she wasn't angry. She was grateful. She feared losing him again, and that fear bound her closer than love ever could. Through absence, Adrian became larger than life, not just a man, but a question she could never answer. By weaving women's worlds into his own, Adrian built an empire without money of his own. And on that note, I want to thank you for watching this video. If you want to keep leveling up, don't forget to show your support. Until next time.